It's Cowboys and Aliens. Cowboys and Aliens. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Opus Vita Talks. I am your host and your local filmmaker right here in Phoenix, Arizona, Isaac Joel, and I'm here to give you a rerun review of Cowboys and Aliens. How have I not seen this movie? Where has this been my entire life? Okay, first of all, you would expect me as a film buff to know these films, and for some reason this movie just slipped under my radar. We're taking it back to 2011, the year before the first Avengers came out, years after the first Iron Man came out, and big names in the big leagues like Jon Favreau, Ron Howard, Steven Spielberg all got together to produce and direct this film, this graphic novel adaptation, Cowboys and Aliens. Now, full disclosure, do not be entirely fooled by my excitement. This movie does have its issues and its flaws, and we're gonna get into that. But man, I just want to really talk about why I love this film so much. Okay, listen to me. This project was, it had every piece of disaster to it. It was in 10 years of the making. They've been trying to adapt this for the last 10 years back then. And so many names came and went on this project. So many people were supposed to direct it and produce it and act in it. At one point, Robert Downey Jr. was supposed to be the lead character of Daniel Craig's. But that didn't happen because of scheduling conflict and everything. But eventually we landed this cast and we landed this crew. And man, did this crew really surprise me by shooting this in film. They were pressured so hard to film this in 3D. Jon Favreau refused because he said Westerns are shot on film. Respect it. I respect the decision. I respect that the homie stood his ground, because this is a time period where everybody wanted a 3D movie. Everybody wanted a 3D movie. And I like hearing stories of people standing their ground and for the right reasons, not to be, prestigious or whatever, but because you can't accomplish a Western without shooting it on film like this. From the opening scene of Daniel Craig's character waking up, not knowing who he is sweaty, drenched in sweat, no shoes on, and then these cowboys come across him and he knocks them all out, shoots them, takes their guns, takes their clothes, steals their horse, goes into the nearest town and tries to figure out who he is, maybe, possibly. That is where this movie really had me. I love the way it's shot. I love the colors. I loved the way that the camera movement with this, because there were some scenes that were shot on handheld. Very handheld. Like, they weren't even trying to be perfect with these shots. Like, they wanted it to look ugly and nasty and it's for this particular moment, and then they cut to the next scene and it's shot very cinematically, like on a stabilizer, on a tripod, and the colors are different, and you're like, my god, they are bouncing back and forth between these colors and these looks and these styles so gracefully. I really enjoyed this. Oh my god. Harrison Ford, again, a jiggy motherfucker. Listen, this guy was doing so much in the 90s. I've talked about it once. I've talked about it twice. Harrison Ford, we got him right before he was too old to be making films. Now we need stunt doubles, and we're still getting Indiana Jones. Jesus Christ. But this was a time period where we could get Harrison Ford to ride a horse and look intimidating and sound intimidating for his age. And boy, does Jon Favreau really use him well. I read reports of Harrison Ford did not want to wear a hat because he didn't want to be identified as Indiana Jones in this. But they really pleaded the case of this is the style, this is the aesthetics, we understand, and it's not distracting. At no point was I am watching Indiana Jones right now, or did I feel like I was watching the same character. I actually really digged the maniacalness of Harrison's Ford character when you meet him, and how after revenge he is, because his son has been arrested and he's trying to get his son back, but at the same time he has a history with Daniel Craig's character, but Daniel Craig's character doesn't know who he is at all. And I love the conflict between the two. I love the hatred between the two. I love how at odds they are. I love the way they held the guns at their hip so close. They really nailed down these aesthetics, man. I did not like Olivia Wilde. They had to have a female character in this movie, to be hot, to be the motivation or whatever. I thought Daniel Craig's character, part of his backstory is that his wife was actually abducted by one of these aliens. That in itself was completely fine for me. I could have just stayed with that as the love story, but they had to throw in another female in here. And if I'm being honest, Olivia Wilde is just too hot. She is just too distractingly hot. You really do get distracted when like she's just on screen for some reason. There's a part where she's like supposedly naked, but I read that she refused to be nude, and that she had to wear a special bikini. That's fine, that's all right. But man, they were really having these cowboy looks and the roughness and the realism to it until her character came in and just like felt like this damsel in distress. The townspeople are really good. And I wanted to specifically talk about that because these are extras, down to the priest, the child, and Sam Rockwell's character. He plays the spineless bartender that doesn't know how to use a gun, but he learns courage throughout the movie. I really liked each character's backstories, and I cared about each of them and what it was they were going through and the people that they lost. I really cared about the townspeople. Now, it is a bit of a generic go-to story when it comes to Daniel Craig's character arriving at the town, because now there's this, evil, town bully, causing up mayhem around the place, shooting up his gun, acting drunk, being stupid, and here comes Marty McFly to stop him. I mean, Daniel Craig. It does get cookie cutter at times. They referenced a lot of alien abduction movies for this. I know a big one was Spielberg was pushing Close Encounters, and when it comes to the abduction scene, I was really believing that they shot this, all in New Mexico, all in the desert. I couldn't see or tell green screen elements only when it came to the alien stuff, but I'm specifically talking about the first half of this movie. Is like everything is real. I felt like I was on a sound stage, or these were real props. These were real built. The town was actually built. But the abduction scene was so cool. It was so scary. It had its horror elements to it, because you see the fire in the background and the fog, and you think it's Indians, cowboys that are running in. It really looks like something from this world in this time period. And the closer it gets, the lights change blue, and the alien ships are just flying around. You don't see the alien ships at this point, and that's what's so cool about this is the way that they were minimizing their use of the aliens, of what they showed, what they didn't show. And I really dig that. Then you get to the second half of this movie, and it becomes that blockbuster movie. It becomes, you see the alien ships, you see these alien dogs. It's a very go-to design. I didn't really think there was much creativity when it came to the alien ships and the design of the aliens. I thought this was a good opportunity to do something different, show us something different, something new. And this look just, I felt like I've seen it before in Avengers. I felt like I saw it in Infinity War. I feel like I've seen it many other times. And I know these movies came after this one, but this Stranger Things even, these aliens just look the same after a while. So they build up so much suspense, and then when they show you, it doesn't look anything special. Even the alien in A Quiet Place, I'll go as far as to say that. Now, I understand why I didn't know about this movie before. It bombed at the box office. Numbers wise, it didn't do so well. Now, this movie was made on $100 million budget. Pretty modest, pretty fair. They got to save a lot of money when they weren't using those damn 3D cameras. Shit, the cinematographer refused to use 3D cameras on this. He's like, are you kidding me? All those wires and everything that's going to be connecting through while we're out in the desert? We're way better off using the film cameras. But anyways, they made this on a $100 million budget. And the box office return was $178 million. So it only made $78 million in return. This is not a loss. I don't consider this a loss. I consider this a fair experiment that we got to do of this genre meshing, the two of aliens and cowboys, the sci-fi and western coming together. I think it was a fair and a great experiment for $78 million as a return. However, I can see why this is a huge fail for these types of people like Jon Favreau, Spielberg, Ron Howard, man. They didn't get to split much of this money when it came back. I'm sure not. Have you seen Cowboys and Aliens? Tell me what you think about this in the comment section below. I'm very interested. I know from what I've read, I didn't read the graphic novels and everything, but from what I did research about this is that it's not really the story of the graphic novel is not the story that of the actual film adaptation. Again, Robert Downey Jr. was supposed to be the main character, and his character was supposed to be a good person. He was supposed to be a sheriff in a past life. But in this one, Daniel Craig's character is actually, wanted man, someone that's against the law and is very, talented and hand-to-hand combat. And I really like that they made him an actual bad person versus he's secretly a good guy underneath all this stuff. I like that these were outlaws being outlaws fighting aliens. But yeah, not much really to compare between the book and the movie. You're not missing much in between that, and I know that they're definitely not going to do a sequel because how bad this bombed. Would you guys have liked to see a sequel? I don't know. I don't know if I would like to revisit this world again. I did find the more that you were going into the movie, it felt especially during the second act, was they would stop, take a break, and then aliens would appear. Stop, take a break, side quests, aliens would appear. And this pattern will go on and on and on. So I didn't really like the cookie cutter go-to style of the second half, but the first half of it being a Western, loved it. Absolutely. I recommend this film to you guys. We're going to be doing more of these, rerun reviews where we talk about old films that came out in the years past. We're going to review them on here with you guys. Please let us know if you have any suggestions, anything that you would like us to talk about. And we're here with you during this quarantine lockdown to just talk about our favorite things, to have the open discussion and open forum with you all. I've been pretty busy these last 2 weeks. The first month of it was pretty rough with this whole quarantine. I had no work coming in. As you guys know, I'm a filmmaker and I make my living off of this. So if Hollywood is shut down, I'm shut down pretty much. But and with all the business shutting down as well, I just had nothing to do. I was doing nothing but just watching movies. But now business is like coming back. Seems like people are trying to go back to normal. I am still limiting my time outside. I really don't go outside that much. When I do go to these gigs, for the most part, they're being shot indoors as well, and with minimum people. So I'm really doing my part in this. I was in California last week on a job, and I may be going there again this weekend for another. But I'm going to be doing my best to be more consistent with these reviews with you all. I love just having this open forum with you guys. Please subscribe to our channel, and we're also on Spotify. You can listen to us on there. Thank you for listening. I've been your host, Isaac Joel. I'll see you next time.